The council chamber fell silent as Ambassador Ivan Martinez stood before the assembled representatives of 47 star systems. The crystalline walls of the Galactic Assembly Hall refracted light from a dozen suns, casting prismatic shadows across her calm face. She had waited 3 years for this moment. War, she repeated, her voice echoing through the vast chamber. You're declaring war on humanity. The Vraxian Chancellor, a towering figure of chitinous armor and mandibles, clicked in affirmation. Your species has exhausted our patience, human. You refuse to share your military technology. You maintain closed borders. You hoard resources. The Council has voted. Earth will comply or Earth will burn. Ivan's lips curved into a smile that made several delegates shift uncomfortably in their biopods. She touched the communicator on her wrist. Casper, did you get all that? 10,000 light-years away in a bunker beneath the Rocky Mountains, Casper Chen pushed back from his console and grinned at the wall of screens before him. Every word, Ambassador. Should I tell them? Tell them, Ivan confirmed. Casper's fingers flew across haptic interfaces as he opened a channel to every military installation on Earth and throughout human-controlled space. Gentlemen, ladies, and everyone in between, the waiting game is over. Operation Long Game is now active. I repeat, Long Game is active. Ivan turned back to the council, her smile widening. You've made a terrible miscalculation. You see, humanity has been preparing for this day since we first discovered we weren't alone in the universe. The Delphinian ambassador, whose species prided themselves on their diplomatic acumen, spoke in her melodious tone. Preparing? You've been in the council for only 37 standard years. Your military presence is negligible. A handful of defense platforms, limited patrol vessels. We've monitored everything. Yes, Ivan agreed pleasantly. You've monitored everything we wanted you to monitor. A holographic display materialized above her, showing star charts. Red dots began appearing across the galaxy. Hundreds, then thousands, then millions of them. The council chamber erupted in panicked chittering, gasping, and electromagnetic distress signals. What you're seeing, Ivan explained, are human installations. Every asteroid base we called research stations. Every mining colony we claimed was civilian. Every merchant convoy that crossed your territories. They're all military assets. Have been from day one. The Vraxian Chancellor's mandibles clacked in disbelief. Impossible. Our intelligence. Your intelligence saw exactly what we wanted them to see. Casper's voice came through Ivan's communicator, now broadcast to the entire chamber. Hi there, Council. Casper Chen, Earth Strategic Command. Fun fact, humans wrote the book on deception warfare. Well, actually, we wrote thousands of books on it. Over thousands of years. While you were all busy with your honor codes and transparent diplomacy, we were practicing something we call military subterfuge. Ivan continued, her voice taking on a harder edge. You know what humanity learned in our early space age? That we're terrifyingly alone in our approach to conflict. You species have wars, sure, but they're ritualized. Predictable. You have rules, honor, limitations. She paused. We have nuclear weapons we agreed never to use on each other because they scared us too much. We have biological agents that could sterilize planets. We have AI weapon systems we banned because they made warfare too efficient, too horrible. She let that sink in before adding, and when we found out we weren't alone, when we discovered the council, we realized something crucial. You'd never fought anyone like us. So we made a choice. We became the friendly newcomers. The helpful humans. The species that just wanted to trade and learn and coexist peacefully. You lied to us, the Delphinian ambassador whispered, her bioluminescent patterns flickering with distress. We practiced strategic patience, Ivan corrected. There's a difference. Everything we told you about human culture, our art, our desire for peace, that was all true. But we never told you what we're capable of when pushed. We never showed you what we built while smiling at your delegates. Casper's voice returned. Speaking of which, those closed borders you mentioned? The technology we wouldn't share? That wasn't because we were being selfish. It was because we were weaponizing everything. Faster than light travel, we can now micro-jump missiles into your throne rooms. Genetic engineering, we said, was for medical use. We've been crafting adaptive bioweapons that target specific genetic markers. That clean energy research? Turns out a fusion reactor makes an excellent bomb when you remove the safety protocols. The council chamber descended into chaos. Delegates argued, shouted, demanded explanations. The Vraxian chancellor raised his arms for silence, his voice thunderous. You would genocide entire species? You would commit such atrocities? Even's expression softened, and for the first time, genuine sadness crossed her features. No, we wouldn't. That's the point you're missing. We could, but we won't. We prepared for the worst while hoping for the best. She gestured, and the holographic display changed to show real-time footage from across the galaxy. Human ships were emerging from hidden bases, but they weren't attacking. They were positioning themselves in defensive formations around every council world. We spent 3 decades preparing for this war. Even said quietly, we infiltrated your systems, learned your weaknesses, built weapons specifically designed to counter each of your species. We could have struck first, achieved total tactical surprise, possibly won within hours. She shook her head, but we didn't, because despite everything, we hoped you'd never give us a reason to. Casper added, his tone equally somber. Humans are really good at war. Terrifyingly good. But you know what we're even better at? Surviving. And we learned a long time ago that the best way to survive is to be so prepared for war that nobody dares start one. Even looked directly at the Vraxian chancellor. So here's what happens next. You withdraw your declaration. We demonstrate our capabilities in designated empty space so there's no confusion about what we can do. Then we sit down and renegotiate Earth's position in this council, as equals, not as subordinates. We share some technology, you share some of yours, and we all walk away from this, or... She didn't finish the sentence. She didn't need to. The chancellor's mandibles worked silently for a long moment. Finally, he spoke. The council will reconsider its position. Even nodded. Smart choice. Casper, stand down to condition yellow. As the council dissolved into emergency sessions, Even walked calmly from the chamber. Behind her, species that had existed for millennia before humanity's first civilization were learning an uncomfortable lesson. Sometimes the friendly neighbor is friendly because they're strong enough to be kind. And humanity, finally, could stop pretending to be anything other than what they were. Survivors who prepared for everything, hoped for the best, and never ever bluffed.